From the land of lakes, this is 10,000 Takes, brought to you by Minnesota Score Radio. Wally and Eric back for yet another week as we slice and dice the always busy, always topical, super saturated Twin Cities sports scene. And Wally, it's another episode of 10K Takes Television, the final one in August of 2022. And we begin with the Minnesota Twins roller coaster ride. They lose 6 in a row. Suddenly they win 4 in a row. So you never know if they're going to be up or down, do you?
No, you don't. By the way, I don't recognize you.
Yeah,
that time of year, huh?
Incognito.
You got your annual haircut.
Yeah, exactly. So,
my goodness, I looked. I said, "Who is this sitting next to me?" I thought
you've always wished and hoped for a new co-host. You got your wish.
Yeah, you looked like before. I thought I was sitting next to 1969 John Lennon. Lo and behold,
let it be.
Let it be. Your Twins. Yeah, you're right. Roller coaster. They did not do well with the Texas team. That's obviously losing to Texas, 3 out of 4, and then all 3 to the Houston Disastros, who are no longer the Houston Disastros. And then they played a San Francisco Giants team that just looked dead in the water.
Yeah, I felt like they limped through those 3 games against the Twins. I was there on Sunday. I know you saw a couple. And, they let one get away on Saturday when they had the long rain delay, and Fox didn't even go back to that game. It's the new Heidi game, and it's the Monarch game now they're calling it.
Well, yeah, and people were lighting up social media. Even Ken Herbeck put something out there. He said, "I can't even watch the game. What's going on?"
So for our younger viewers, way back in time, I think it was 1968, NBC was airing the New York Jets at the Oakland Raiders, and they were getting toward prime time. They cut out in the final 2 minutes. The Jets had a big lead. They went to Heidi. That's what they put on the network program.
It was a movie, yeah.
Yeah, a movie. The Raiders had a remarkable comeback that nobody saw unless you were at the Oakland Coliseum. Well, what we saw Saturday at Target Field was Fox not going back after the rain delay, and a great comeback by the Twins to pull it out.
So the Twins
The Monarch game. They put on Monarch, whatever that is. I don't watch Fox unless it's sports. Their programming to me is irrelevant.
Yeah, I don't watch TV unless it's
Monarch's
sports.
A butterfly, I think.
That's what I thought you were talking about. Either that or the Queen of England.
It could be that.
One or the other. All right, so 4 wins in a row gets them back within a game and a half of Cleveland. Chicago is irrelevant, if you ask me. Now, obviously, the Twins go to Chicago this weekend, and that could all change. The White Sox could turn it around and get 3 straight from the Twins. But the White Sox have been so bad defensively, and their pitching has been up and down. I don't think that they're going to be a factor down the stretch. I think it's down to Minnesota and Cleveland.
I feel like because when the Twins get to Chicago this weekend, the calendar will have flipped over to September. I feel like the White Sox might be playing for their lives.
So desperation mode?
Yeah, I feel like they're going to say we have to win the series at a minimum, if not sweep it. You've already counted them out. You've tagged their toe and sent them off to the morgue. You say the Sox are dead. I am saying not yet. But to your point, they have shown no penchant for really being in this thing. They haven't convinced me they're going to get in it, but I still say they're not out yet.
They got swept by Arizona in Chicago.
Oh, boy.
What more do you need to know?
Yeah, that's really, those are dagger defeats. Oh. And, when the season ends, if the Chicago White Sox, who were a World Series favorite going in the eyes of a lot of people, including the Sox, if they don't get into the postseason, then you wonder, will Jerry Reinsdorf make a move with Tony La Russa? My guess is he will tell Tony very tactfully behind closed doors, Tony, why don't you retire, go out on your own terms? We're good friends. I don't want to gas you.
Yeah.
But that's the way it looks, unless they can flip the script.
Wow. And they got basically a month to do it now. It's down to the final month. And they're going to have to turn it around, and then they're going to have to win their games against both Minnesota and Cleveland. And Chicago has a number of them, but those numbers are dwindling. They only have 4 left against Cleveland. So we'll see. We'll see how this thing plays out.
Unless Richie Allen and Harold Baines and Hoyt Wilhelm come back, I doubt they're going to do it.
Richie, call me Dick.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, back to your Twins. They got some timely hitting. The pitching has been good enough. the Joe Ryan pitched fairly well the other day. They got some more innings out of Dylan Bundy against the Red Sox on Monday. So these guys have been giving them basically what they expect. But the good news is they've actually been getting some help out of the bullpen. And if the bullpen doesn't implode, then Rocco can lean on his, 5 innings of starters, and then throw that bullpen in there. But you can't, obviously they haven't been able to depend on the bullpen because it imploded on them against both Houston and Texas.
Yeah, I think the Twins have just been able to tell their fan base that we're not going away. We're still going to fight. Cleveland's come back to earth, not losing 3 of 4 to Seattle. Now they're playing Baltimore, and Baltimore's been a great story. You think about how bad the Orioles were a year ago, and now they're
they're in the contention for a wild card spot.
Chase. So the AL Central, mediocre. The division title up for grabs. And, there's an old saying in baseball, when September rolls around, you want to play meaningful games. And the Twins are in that spot. There's not much more you can ask for.
Yeah. And Cleveland still has 3 more with Seattle coming up this weekend.
They do.
So, and Seattle's a good baseball team. Don't kid yourself. That bullpen of Seattle's is about as good as anybody. I think only Cleveland has a better bullpen as far as ERA goes.
And they have J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez, who might be a $500 million player someday. That's what I'm hearing. Let's not forget, though, the Minnesota Twins still have to go to the Bronx and play the New York Yankees.
Right.
And we know the Yankees are kryptonite to the Twins. There's still some tough games on the Twins' schedule. But to their credit, they took care of San Francisco, and they win that opener against Boston. And both the Giants and Red Sox were playoff teams a year ago, but they have really dovetailed this season.
All right, so now the bad news. Byron Buxton is likely to be out longer than just Friday. He's eligible to come off the injured list on Friday. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. It looks like it's going to be sometime down the road. He may not and probably won't travel with the team to Chicago and New York. So it may be a week and a half, almost 2 weeks from now before he gets back into the lineup, which is not good.
It's really the same old song with Byron Buxton. He just can't stay on the field. We know he's just an incredible center fielder. He's Spider-Man out there. Creating highlights with his acrobatic defensive plays. He's got power. Average probably a little lower than we'd all like. And the RBI total isn't that high. But he's an all-star. Hit a home run in that all-star game. Really the go-ahead run for the AL at Dodger Stadium. So they need him back. Can they win this thing without Buxton in the final month and a half? I would say no.
No, I agree. I think they're going to need him back. They've gotten some good games out of Jake Cave and out of Gilberto Celestino. But, how long does that last? I mean, Cave gave him a big home run the other day. Celestino had a couple of big hits. They got a big hit from Gio Urshela to win the game against Boston on Monday. So they've had some good things happen with some of the other guys. But, let me spin that, though. Carlos Correa has come around. He's had several good games now. He had a home run. I think Friday night he had a 2-run homer. So they need Correa to continue doing that.
Remember, Carlos Correa is an October-proven guy. Now they're not there yet. They're not in the postseason. But my point is, in crunch time, he has a history of success going back to his days with Houston. So he might have a September where all of a sudden he elevates his game. He's capable of it. And in that room, he can also tell these guys, hey, this is now essentially they're into playoff baseball because they're battling for that divisional crown with the Guardians. I'm not sure you're going to get a wild card team out of the AL Central.
No,
so
probably not.
You better win the division to punch your ticket.
All right. Well, speaking of September and October, we're going to talk some football, some Gopher football coming up with a guy who has a few passing records in the Gopher record book.
Adam Weber will join us, former Gopher quarterback. This is 10K Takes, your Twins ticket.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Well, the Gopher football season kicks off this week, Thursday night at Huntington Bank Stadium, New Mexico State, and your Golden Gophers. And joining us now is a former Golden Gopher quarterback Adam Weber, who, of course, is still the all-time passing leader. I think if they give our guy Tanner Morgan another 3 or 4 years, he might pass you, Adam. But let's talk about Tanner Morgan a little bit. How important is it that this guy now has what basically is a 5th year of starting for the U of M?
Well, the offense is going to truly run through him. I know with Shiraka back, I'd love to see what they were doing back in his sophomore year when they had all that success. I know there was a little bit of a drop-off that last season. Then the COVID year was kind of weird. So really be looking for him to kind of continue on. The weapons around him are all developed. I mean, we have to be one of the most tenured team in the Big Ten, if not the country. So really be looking for him just to be smart with the football. He's going to have some weapons around him. Probably not going to ask him to do too much. You're going to have a great defense behind you. So I would be looking for Tanner to have really a stellar year.
Adam, the sidebar is PJ Fleck, Jerry Kill. Will it be a post-game handshake or a post-game punch? Nobody really knows what's going to happen. As a player, though, because you're hearing about it and people are asking you about it, does that affect anything as far as the on-the-field stuff?
I wouldn't think so. When it comes down to it, Minnesota is the better team, probably physically and just talent-wise. So, if they just go out there and execute. But I know that prior to kickoff, all the kind of publicity leading up to it, there's going to be a little bit of distractions, to say the least. But, when you go out there, the better team should prevail. And I would hope at the end there can be some mutual respect of just two head coaches going about their business. But I don't know. Time will tell.
You got to play at what was then TCF Bank Stadium in the early years of that stadium. What was it like on opening day or opening night when you ran out onto that field?
Yeah, no, it truly was electric. There wasn't an atmosphere like that we played in. We played in some really awesome stadiums in the Big Ten. You're really lucky to play in Ohio State, the Michigans. I mean, really, you list them all. They're all great stadiums, even on down to Ryan Field or down to Northwestern. They all have their own little special kind of unique things about them. But TCF and now Huntington Bank have it going from the Metrodome to TCF to be on campus, to Huntington, really was special, not only for the players, the coaching staff, but all the people that played prior to that point. I think they all took a special position in that game because they all knew that they all contributed to getting that stadium on campus. And then the fans showed out playing Air Force, an academy school with all their history and tradition. It was a really, really special night. Turned out to be a great night. And, we were lucky to get the win. It wasn't probably the most electric game offensively, but we were happy to get the win and to really christen the stadium.
And Adam, you talk about the great venues in the Big Ten. Let's spin it forward to a couple of years from now when suddenly USC and UCLA are part of the conference and you're playing at the Los Angeles Coliseum or the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Those are two more historic venues coming to the Big Ten. What was your reaction when you found out the Big Ten was getting the Trojans and the Bruins?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a Midwest team, does it? Or Midwest teams. Don't really fit the mold. But where college football is going, it's probably not super surprising. And where UCLA and USC are in the Pac-12, and where the Big Ten's going, is probably a smart financial move for those two schools. I coached at UCLA for a season, so I got to play in the Rose Bowl quite a bit, or at least coach in the Rose Bowl, and then coach at in the Coliseum. Very, very cool, prestigious stadiums. And so I think it's going to be a good excuse for fans to get out west, get out of some of the cold weather a little bit, experience the West Coast. It is interesting. It was kind of surprising when I heard about that, but kind of seeing where college football is going, I think we'll only see more and more of these type of schools becoming these super conferences, and really, Big 12 or Big 10 is going to be the Big 20 here pretty soon. So,
yeah,
they'll change the name or not.
No, I don't think they're going to change the name. We already crossed that bridge when we brought Penn State in and made them the 11th team several years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, you talk about the changes in college football and college sports in general now with the NIL. How do you think long-term this is going to affect college sports? And do you think that the University of Minnesota has an edge, or do you think that they're kind of behind the 8 ball when it comes to the NIL?
It is challenging. Before you could recruit on many different factors, and now you have to involve publicity. You have to involve having kids being able to brand out their likeness and opportunities that they have. I'd say Minnesota, what we've always recruited on was being a hub for some of these larger companies in the country. Being a mega spot. The Minneapolis Twin Cities area is a very special area. Not only for college athletics, but also for future opportunities outside of football, and just the connections you can make with the alumni base and just the surrounding companies. I know it's a challenging kind of environment to navigate. I do not envy coaches these days having to figure out, before you're recruiting a kid who's fits your culture, fits your program, but now you have to figure. They're like, well, what are you going to do for him in regards to how much money he can make at the dealership with some deal? I don't even know what those conversations are like. I think it's challenging for coaches. Again, when you're recruiting kids prior to the NIL deal going through, you're selling the program, you're selling maybe playing opportunity, future opportunities in the NFL, and then also just the alumni base you have and the resources that a particular city or alumni base has. And now you're kind of selling branding and marketability of players. Football was going that way, even high, basketball, hockey a little bit, and for sure football. It's big time money. I think the NCAA tried to keep it as amateur as they could, and they saw the writing on the wall that this is a probably billion-dollar industry, and players need to be able to be compensated in some capacity, especially with these money deals. I mean, the reason why UCLA and USC are coming to the Big Ten is for financial reasons, right? I mean, it's because of those TV contracts. And so it's a tough place to navigate. I do not envy coaches trying to navigate that space because, it's going to be hard to compete with other teams that can, I don't even know if they call it offering more money, but I mean, essentially that's what it is. So I don't know how you do it. It's a challenging environment, but I know that that's where football was going, and it was just a matter of time until players were going to be able to be compensated a little bit financially.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, thanks, Adam. He is Adam Weber, the former Golden Gopher quarterback. He holds all the passing records at the U of M. We'll see if our guy Tanner Morgan starts making some hay towards those records beginning on Thursday. More on 10,000 Takes after this timeout. Stay with us. Imagine a public golf course where beginners feel comfortable in learning and where experienced players can test their skills. Well, you don't have to imagine it. You can live it at the Royal Golf Club in Lake Elmo, an 18-hole championship caliber course designed by golfing legends Arnold Palmer and Annika Sorenstam. With 5 tee boxes, bent grass fairways, and generous landing areas, the Royal Golf Club is perfect for golfers of all experience levels. Golfing and Arnie's Restaurant are open to the public, so make your tee times today at RoyalClubMN.com. The Royal Golf Club, a one-of-a-kind golfing experience.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earrings. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
$10,000 Takes. Wally and Eric. Our thanks to Adam Weber for joining us. All right. Minnesota Vikings. They finished their preseason. They didn't get a win. Kevin O'Connell is 0-for. Unlike Mike Zimmer. Zimmer liked to win those preseason games, but Kevin O'Connell did not get any wins. Is there anything you could take out of this? I mean, the fact that they played basically nobody. I mean, they used this as a tryout for second and third stringers and quarterbacks, and then they played Mannion and Mond. They basically alternated them throughout the preseason, and then they bring in somebody else. They bring in Nick Mullins, who ends up being their second string quarterback. The guy never took a snap.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say. I mean, preseason, AKA counterfeit football, is more of a ridiculous exercise in futility now than it's ever been, with the exception of the guys trying to make these teams.
Yeah.
But for fans or people in the media, how do you get a gauge on this stuff? Okay, Vikings 0-3, all is gloom and doom. Well, not necessarily.
Right.
I mean,
Doesn't
they
matter.
don't care. You don't get paid on your preseason record. I know John Harbaugh wishes he did. I mean, all he does is win these exhibition games with Baltimore. But, out of the gate, they get Green Bay. So, welcome to the NFL, Kevin O'Connell. You're going to be tested right away against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. So, I think Viking fans are probably cautiously optimistic about this team. I'm not sure about their depth. They definitely have to have Zadarius Smith and Daniil Hunter play like they have when they've gone to Pro Bowls. The last couple of years, they've been banged up and haven't been on the field. Those are two defensive keys. If they come back and play at the level they're capable of, then this defense should improve by quantum leaps. Special teams, I always harp on that, needs to be good. It needs to win you games and not cost you games, which we've seen in the past. Offensively, I think they have a lot of weapons. They should be good on offense, especially with O'Connell putting his fingerprints on it, who was under Sean McVay in Los Angeles with the Rams, and Wes Phillips.
All right, couple of questions. One, a lot of chatter about possibly sending Alexander Madison packing. They feel good about this Ty Chandler, the guy that they drafted. Obviously, they feel good about Dalvin Cook. My problem with this, besides the fact that Alexander Madison is supposed to be a regular on our radio and TV show,
Of course.
of course, is that Dalvin Cook has a history of missing games. I mean, he just does. And Madison has been a number one running back for all intents and purposes. And I know that his contract is up at the end of this year. So Madison is probably going to be gone after this year. But if he leaves via free agency and he has a decent year, they're going to get a compensatory pick. They're going to get a third or fourth round draft pick. Right now, some of the talk is that people are offering him a fifth round pick. Why would you do that? Let's try to win a football game or two this year, right?
Yeah, and I think you hit on the key point. As good as Dalvin Cook is, running the ball, catching the ball, he's a good blocker in the backfield, but he's not on the field all the time. He does have a history of injuries. Alexander Madison, to me, is the perfect change of pace running back from Dalvin Cook. He's a high-character guy. We've gotten to know him, and I think he brings a lot into that locker room. I wouldn't rush him out the door unless you got an offer you couldn't say no to. If they blow your socks off, that's one thing. If there's a running back desperate team out there that says, we'll give you this and that for Alexander, then yeah, maybe you do it, because he probably won't be here next season. In his eyes, he thinks he's a starter. And that's what you want out of a backup. Any backup who's happy being a backup, you really don't want him on your roster. You want guys who believe they should start. And your backup quarterback better think he should be starting, and on it goes. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's a new regime and depth. You lose Madison, you lose depth.
Yeah, no question. All right. The second part of my I wonder what we're doing here is Kellen Mond. Younger, more mobile. They waive him instead of getting rid of Sean Mannion. At least that's what it appears to be. I think that they should have hung on to Mond. I mean, we're not at practice every day, but based on the preseason, they both look about the same to me. I mean, Mond is more mobile and I think has more upside. I guess that's where I'm going with this.
I totally concur. And look, obviously Kellen Mond has some growing to do. But from the Kellen Mond perspective, how many actual reps have you gotten? You really haven't had that true chance to show your wares. He's a young guy. It's probably going to take him some time to figure this NFL thing out. But also, when you have a scout team quarterback, let's say when they play Philadelphia week 2 and you're looking at trying to defense Jalen Hurts, or later on down the road when you play 2 games with Chicago and you have Justin Fields.
Kyler Murray.
They also play Kyler Murray in Arizona. So they play these quarterbacks who they're better than Mond, no doubt about it, but they have a similar type style. How do you replicate that with Sean Mannion or Nick Mullins or whoever your backup scout guy is? So I would have kept him around. I don't think he got the look he deserves as a third-round pick. And the Vikings basically have said, he's a bust. That's what they're saying by cutting him, right?
Well, that was a Rick Spielman decision.
It was, and they're washing their hands of him, I guess. But if he resurfaces somewhere and has success, it'll just be the latest chapter in another bonehead Minnesota move.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we've got takes of the day coming up. Stay with us. This is 10,000 Takes, your purple ticket.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
We chug along another episode of 10K Takes Television. Wally and Eric with you. And it's time for Takes of the Day. Are you a cranky Yankee? Are you Captain Sunshine? Maybe you're a demanding diva. What is it today?
Well, as you know, NFL cut downs happening all across the league, and kind of a surprise, at least I thought so. Tyler Johnson, the former Minneapolis North High School star, former University of Minnesota star, cut by Tom Brady's Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so he will not be catching passes from the GOAT this year, at least as of now. So that got me to thinking, and I'm sure Viking fans across the Northern Territory here are thinking the same thing. Hey, bring Tyler Johnson in here. BC Johnson, no relation that I'm aware of, out for the year. Let's get the other Johnson. Let's get Tyler Johnson back here in Minnesota. He proved that he doesn't need to be catching footballs to be an effective wideout. He's set some great blocks. He's done some good things at Tampa Bay. He won a Super Bowl ring. Now, of course, what I've been hearing, though, is that the Packers want him too. Packer fans are boning up. They say, hey, bring Tyler Johnson to Green Bay. They need him in Titletown. He could have a ring for both hands. He's got the Super Bowl ring he won with Tampa. They want another one for his other hand he could win in Green Bay. So he'll go from Tom Brady to perhaps Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. I say bring him to Minnesota. Keep him away from Packerville.
And the mood meter says you are a demanding diva.
Yeah, okay.
He wants Tyler back in Minneapolis. Well, if I'm Tyler and the purple want me and the green and gold want me, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to Green Bay, playing on natural grass, playing outside, and catching the rock from Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, maybe he wants to be at home, though.
See what happens. Well, he's not that far away from home in Green Bay.
That's true. Good point.
The weather's the same.
All right. Yeah, true.
All right, well, my take of the day, I'm going to skate off the rails a bit today. Skateboarding.
What else is new?
Yeah. I was in Des Moines, Iowa recently.
Oh, boy.
One of my kids is into skateboarding. So we went down to the Lauridsen Skate Park in downtown Des Moines. And boy, this is a cool spot. Okay. The footprint is huge, 88,000 square feet, largest skate park in the U.S. They've had Olympic qualifying trials there. They've got bowls and rails. You've got skateboarders. You've got kids on rollerblades. You've got kids riding bikes. You've got all sorts of things going on. It's very organic. And the backdrop is cool. You've got the Des Moines River rolling by. You've got a suspension arch bridge off in the distance. You have the downtown Des Moines skyline, including Wells Fargo Arena, home of your Iowa Wild.
Wait a minute.
And Iowa Wolves.
Downtown skyline.
Yeah, they've got one in Des Moines. City's growing.
Okay.
So I say if you've got kids who like skateboarding, take them down to Des Moines. They will have a good time. And here's the best part about it. The park, free. The parking, free.
Well, that's the best part for you.
Best four-letter word on earth, free, especially with all this inflation.
All right, so you spent a free weekend, in other words, down in Des Moines.
I wouldn't say free. I did go see the St. Paul Saints play the Iowa Cubs.
Oh, boy.
At Principal Park in Des Moines.
Who won the ball game?
The I-Cubs won.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So. How's that stadium?
It's pretty good. It's laid out similar to CHS. It's not as new. Doesn't have quite the bells and whistles, but it's fine. It's a good minor league venue. Right on the Des Moines River, too.
All right.
You could skateboard down the river trail from the park to the ballpark. From the park to the park.
AAA ball and a little skateboarding.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And some corn.
And a lot of corn. Who are you kidding?
And on that note, we got to go. Let's FedEx out those thank yous. One to David Weld, Alex Yambrick behind the scenes, of course, Rocky and Adam Weber. For Wally, I'm Eric saying this is 10K Takes, your sports ticket.